Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Conn'Cast podcast. I am your host Finn Tumber as always, and today I've got a guest. Woo! Because last week I didn't have one. If you watched it, you'd have known. So
I did.
You did. See, Vicky knew.
I did.
On that note, we are here with Vicky. I don't know if to do a full name or just Vicky. Is that do?
So,
You can, yeah, Vic even Vicky.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you usually go by? Anything.
anything, yeah, I'll respond to most names.
For words as well. Anyway, I'm here with Vic, and we haven't planned any of this at all, which I quite enjoyed the thought of actually. Bit apprehensive about it as well, but I quite like the idea. We're just gonna have a little chat.
We'll be fine.
We will absolutely. But I mean, first,
I'm just reflecting from your last, your Uno Conn'Cast.
Uno?
Yeah, your the condensation in your breath. It's so cold. That just proves that I watched it.
Yeah, I'm so impressed. I mean, the only thing with that was I looked back at the video. I was like, you cannot see the condensation.
No, you can't.
But when I was, because I was recording it here, and as it went up, I just saw loads of steam. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I swear word already. I'll have to bleep a lot of this episode apparently.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just breathe.
Anyway, I am here with Vic, and I think a lot of these listeners won't actually know about you, will they? Which is
No,
quite nice.
hopefully not.
Quite a nice thought, actually, isn't
yeah,
it?
that's
So,
it.
I mean, yeah, do you want to kind of like introduce yourself and what you do? I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of things that I probably don't know, really, isn't there?
Well, I don't know. I think you know quite a
I
lot.
hope so. Don't quiz me. But yeah, please don't.
I
But
won't.
yeah, so
So I'm Vicky. I'm a friend of Finn's via his lovely brother Con. I know, there he is.
well, yeah, I've got to have him up here.
But I was more, well, I tortured him, didn't I? So yeah,
It went both ways.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I said that I met Con through our work environment, and at the time we
wasn't it?
worked through ASDA.
That was it, yeah.
Again, where I just tormented him, all for the laughs, of course, and
Yeah.
we did laugh.
The stories. I mean, have you got any answer stories? I'd love to hear.
None that I could probably repeat, I'll be honest with you. I mean, there was a time we were in the chiller and he'd sort of coerced me. He's like, oh, Vic, you can't go at 9:30. I'm here till 10. Come on, you can stay an extra half hour to help me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he just stopped asking in the end because it always ended up badly for him because he'd get cling filmed to the cage and left in the chiller or... Yeah.
Vic, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I'd be like, hold it still, and then I'd be like, what do I need to do? So he'd wrap it up at the top, and then I would,
Up.
I'd go sort of through him, and then I just thought, no, I'm just going to go around him now and just,
Oh, that's all right. That's all good. So first, I
Hit him
do it
too.
all the time.
well, it's an offensive.
It is. It's like, yeah. You get the credit. You think just thinking about it. Like, oh.
I know, it's payback though, isn't it, for all the times I tormented
Yeah.
him. I'd
did-
shout rude words at him all the way from the counter. I'd wait for him to get a fair distance.
It sounds like bullying, but it was not. It was very much love, and he did chuck it back at you. Maybe not
No,
as
he
far.
did. He did. He did.
I didn't know about that as the thing. That's so
Yeah.
funny. For you guys that know as well, Connor's pretty much the same sort of stature as me, so
Yeah.
it wasn't hard to get the
No.
cling film around him.
No.
It was a bit of a rake, wasn't it? You just
He was lean and mean, but he was also keen.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Talking about that same thing, actually, I remember we went to Westlands school.
Yes.
So that was his secondary school, and I heard this story. I can't remember who it was, and he was put in it. It sounds like bullying, but it wasn't because he enjoyed
No.
it. It's right. It's not bullying if you enjoy it. But the AstroTurf had this like metal fence, that barbed fence. I don't know if he told you this.
I think he did.
And he got cable tied to the,
Yeah.
to the Astro.
Yeah.
And his mates just like cable tied him to it and then just went to lesson.
Yeah.
But he was kind of in it as well. It wasn't like they literally picked him up and he's bullied. I think he was like, oh, it'd actually be quite funny if you did this.
Yeah. With the undertone of, I reckon I could probably break out of this easily.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. And then I think it was like the PE lesson after that went, oh my God, is that someone just on the side of the
Yeah, because guess what? He wasn't so easy to get out. Yeah.
Classic Con, isn't
Yeah.
it? But no, I do miss Con. And
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's nice actually. That although it's in Asda was all right, but what amazing friendship you had through Asda as well with him,
Yeah, because I said you only lived 10 doors away from me,
That's the
so I mean,
craziest
not only
thing.
did I get to abuse him at work,
Yeah.
but I'd abuse him outside as well. Yeah.
Are you still 10 doors down?
Yeah.
You are, because I didn't actually say this. I didn't say this before I started recording, but I'm a postman now.
No.
I'm a postman. I'm a
You
Royal Mail
wear the shorts
postie.
as well. Please say you don't.
The shorts and the red. No,
Oh.
I don't. I haven't even got uniform yet. I literally started in December, but
Wow.
So I'm only like 5-6 shifts in, and I really wish I did. But basically, before I jump there, I work at Sittingbourne.
Yeah.
However, we do Faversham and Sheppey as well.
Wow.
If it's Christmas, we get a bit more like overflow. They shove it over to our delivery office. Anyway, long story. I was living on the island on Sunday. Or was it last Sunday? Last Sunday. And I did a few stops down in Victor, and I was like, oh, I'm so busy. But like, I literally walked past your house, and I was like, oh, I want to just like knock and just come in, but I couldn't. I was like, Vic's right there.
When was it? Sunday?
This is a long time ago now. We're talking.
Probably at work.
Oh, probably, yeah, you probably were actually.
Yeah.
I'd have knocked and no one would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Zoe would have been or someone, but.
Oh, no, Zoe's moved out,
hasn't
yeah.
she? I forgot about that.
I know. She sent me a voice note the other day. Said,
Oh my God.
She goes, it's boring living here. And she
Yeah.
said, because obviously her other half works his shift pattern.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
And she's like, oh, just looking for all
God,
my
she's moved out.
I'm looking for all my reels, and I didn't realise how much fun I had at home. I was like, you're welcome. Yeah,
You sound like a really fun mum, I can't lie.
I don't know.
I think
again, it depends who you ask. You know, firm but fair.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not been easy, which kind of leads us into the reasons of the podcast. Why I'm here.
Go through, please.
But just sort of an add to. I'm not at Asda no more.
Yes, to add.
I'm not at Asda no more. No, I did leave. And it was sadly, I say sadly, I started an Open University course whilst I was still at Asda. And I deferred twice because the core material it was more centred around sort of the social, psychological perspective. And social psychology does make me angry. Mm-hmm. It does. And I just couldn't get on with it, so I deferred. And it was sadly the year that we lost Connor. It really did propel me into, no, we are going to get this done. With the help of another friend, he actually found me the complete core material, which was psychology through basically womb to grave. And I got my bachelor's in that. So
the whole way through.
Pretty much is it like birth. So I wanted to cover all models of psychology. So you've got all disciplines, which is cognitive, developmental, social.
Yes.
And my brain's gone, biological.
Yes.
Psychology. And that's what I got through my bachelor's.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like functional psychology.
Interesting.
Because you can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
And then you've got the sub-disciplines, which is all very boring, but it's all very relevant.
Yeah, you have to know it. And
I said now I'm second year into my master's of psychology. Exactly. And I work within the mental health field. Mm-hmm. I'm actually a mental health transport assistant.
Is that what that's the role?
The job title.
That's the title.
I'm now a team leader.
But you got your van though, you said.
I have. Yeah.
You got your little van.
We drive 9-seater vans, and we also drive the safe area vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically a glorified cell van.
Okay,
I mean, you've got to say what it is, especially when you're dealing with patients. So our role is not only the transfer of patients from hospital ward to hospital ward. We deal with forensic units. We deal with PICU units. Forensic is prisons. But we also support police in executing warrants, which would be under Section 135 of the Mental Health Act 1983.
Which I'll say I know what that is.
And then you've got sort of the 136 suites, bed watch within A&E. And we do community assessments as well, where we're supporting doctors and approved mental health practitioners.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
And I mean, but for us, we do pride ourselves on our de-escalation techniques because everybody is impacted by mental health at some stage in their life.
Yeah.
And for me, how I like to operate and to work is to detain somebody of their rights. Yeah. It's a very, very dehumanising experience.
Okay, yeah.
So for me personally, I like to try to give them, although limited, choices, and try to put the humanistic side back into their experience.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Which works, I would say 9 times out of 10.
That's good. Are you saying usually it's kind of like a script? Is that what you mean in terms of how you?
Not really.
Not quite that.
It's literally you're flying by the seat of your underpants, and because everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
And adding that human side to it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, so again, when you're dealing with like schizophrenia,
bipolar, some really,
you know, you do deal with a lot of people who are quite manic, that have stopped taking their medication, which is quite sad. But you know, there are sort of extenuating circumstances because they just don't like it, or they don't get on with it, or, you know, or they feel failed by the system by some way, or they don't have the support within the community, or there's breakdown in relationships, which prevents that. And it's mental health does predominantly impact the person suffering.
Yeah.
But what gets grossly overlooked is the family around.
Spot on.
You know, and I think that we've developed some kind of culture within, you know, mental health. I think for me personally,
I couldn't agree more.
It's become a bit of a buzzword, and I hate to say that because I too, and I said, here's the disclosure, I too had a breakdown back in 2009, I think it was, which then introduced me to mental health as an institution. And I saw 8 psychiatrists and a professor, all of which didn't know what to do with me. Honestly, they did not know what to do with me.
Both of them said that.
The common theme through my interactions with them was, you're too intellectually aware of yourself, your environment, your symptoms, so we can't help you.
What?
I know. So,
what?
Yeah, and a lot of it was, it's a lot of learned bad behaviour.
Okay.
And that seems to be quite a common denominator within sort of relations with these patients that I deal with today. They too hear, well, it's a lot of bad behaviour, it's a lot of bad behaviour. And when you're sort of left with that full stop at the end of, it's just bad behaviour or learnt bad behaviour, with no conversation of afterwards.
How to undo that as well.
Yeah, it kind of leaves you in this vicious cycle, rinse, recycle, repeat. So for me, the outcome of it was quite a broad diagnosis.
Right. Interesting, yeah.
It is.
It sounds
it. So for me, on paper, and I say on paper because it holds no reflection on my life today, so there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Spot on. Absolutely that.
So on paper, I have emotional unstable personality disorder, which is very, very, very common.
Is it?
It does seem so within sort of patient relation. Bipolar disorder type 2. And they're both mood disorders.
Yes. There's a lot of misconceptions, I feel like, in people that don't know about these disorders, would you say?
Absolutely. People
don't understand what they are.
PTSD.
Yeah.
That one I will agree on.
Yeah.
ADHD. So which we can relate. You were quite shocked. You didn't realise that you. Yeah, I mean,
my radar's awful, by the way. So
how could you not know that I didn't have ADHD? It's normally the first thing that people spot, and it's like, you know, you've got a bit of ADHD, and it's like,
I do actually.
Yeah, that's why I can't shut up.
Okay, yeah. Join the club.
Then sort of the eating disorders, which were developed quite early on. But yeah, it's the outcome for me was they wanted CBT.
Right.
And for me, being the defiant person that I am, I just absolutely refused.
But before you even went, no, absolutely not.
No, I was like, look, you know, for me, CBT, because it's what I know now, it's modifies behaviour.
It modifies it.
It modifies behaviour. So, so what it does is that, and I know that sounds awful.
No.
Within like the modification. But what it does within CBT is that it looks towards, you know, where you've got the consequence. So it's like an ABC model.
Okay, yeah.
So you've got the antecedent, which is the thought process, the behaviour, and then the consequence.
And that's the process.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
So
usually,
you go to something and go, I've got a problem, this is how I react. And it's like, okay, then, so what was the trigger response for the problem in the first place?
Okay,
Well, this happened. And it's like, okay, then, well, can we try to maybe modify your responses or at least your outlook? Yeah. Because, what you think you become. The mind is a very, very powerful construct.
It sounds very linear, like it has to be the A to B, then...
your thoughts do affect your behaviour.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in how you behave, there are consequences to that. So this is where sort of the modification comes in.
Yeah.
And my response to predominantly most of the psychiatrists was, I'm not a dog. I don't need to be taught how to bark and beg.
Yes. That's what you said.
That's exactly what I said.
Good on you.
And they said, no, that's not what it is. I said, I'm not stupid. You've already foregone that conclusion because you can't help me. I said, I know how to behave. I said, but so much has happened to me up until this stage, I don't care.
Yeah.
The whole compassion had just gone. I just thought to myself, no, that's it. It's balls to the wall.
Yeah.
I've had enough and I didn't care of the consequences.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very terrible time for myself, my children at the time. I had 3 daughters and my family.
Yeah.
But I persevered. I came through. And for me, it was, because I've got a curious mind anyway, I thought this is not going to be the stigma.
Good.
This is not going to be my identity. And it was a conversation I had with my care coordinator, which we don't have now. I since found out.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because I always liaise with sort of patients and the amps and the doctors, and it's like, do they have a care coordinator assigned? Apparently they don't do them anymore. So I don't really quite know what the structure is of that.
Yeah, to do it, yeah.
But for me, I actually asked the question. I got so frustrated. I was like, why do they keep saying it's learned bad behaviour? She said, Vic, you are a smart girl, she said, but it strikes me as odd that you haven't put the dots together.
I still haven't. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
And she's, well, you did just now. We've learnt bad behaviour.
Yeah.
The caption's in that phrase. You learn right up to the day that you die.
Yeah.
So the advantage of having learnt bad behaviour is that you've got something to compare it to.
Interesting. Would you say these bad behaviours are sometimes learned as a young child in your childhood?
Absolutely. So that kind of boils me right back to the developmental side of psychology.
Interesting.
And it does, this conversation does make a lot of people feel uncomfortable because accountability kind of then falls at the parents, and then the parents are like, well, I wasn't taught how to do any different. I'm just rinse, recycle and repeat what I learned, what I observed. And that's okay, because this is what makes these conversations so important.
Yeah, exactly that.
And it's the word accountability as well. So, I mean, for me, through my learnings, is the importance of a secure attachment to your parents. You know, me, I'm anxious avoidant in attachment style, which is no help to anybody because I do tend to dissociate. I'm an overthinker. I am.
Really?
I'm terrible.
You come across as really chill though, or is that what you have?
Do you know what? I come across as chilled because I've just resigned the fact that everything is beyond my control. So,
and that's quite nice.
I can only control my reaction to things. Yes. Yeah, that's something that I've learned.
It's a mature way of looking at it, actually.
But it's taken me sort of 15 odd years to get to this point. You know, and not only that, but it's not so much the attachment to your parents, it's the type of relationships you have with your siblings. And we are now in a contemporary age where the nuclear family is not as it was in the 50s. Yeah. You know, we now have blended families.
Yeah.
which it impacts. It does impact in different parenting styles.
Yeah.
And there's a conflict there, and it's no onus. You know, I mean, I'm a single parent of 5 children.
Yeah.
2 of which are now adults, which is quite strange.
That's scary for me to think as well.
I know. In my head, I'm still 17,
No,
and
genuinely.
it's like I own 2 adults. What's that about?
You won't do that.
You know, nearly 3.
Oh God, no! Don't say that. It's even scarier.
I know.
No.
But yeah, they are quite significant in regards to, you know, identifying what actually grounds is what's trauma.
Yeah.
What is trauma?
What do you define as trauma? You know.
Everything, it would seem.
Yeah.
Everything, it would seem.
Yeah.
I said, so, I mean, for me, everybody has mental health. Everybody's impacted by something. And I think it is dependent on their outlook,
Absolutely
their personality,
Absolutely that.
you know, even the support circles, you know, can be a blessing to outcomes.
Yep. I almost think of it sometimes that some people have almost like a threshold,
Yeah.
or maybe they've got different. One thing will affect someone else completely differently.
Absolutely.
You know, if you put the same event in 2 different people, they may deal with it in different ways.
It's perspectives,
Perspective.
which is another psychological thing. So
I don't know
mean,
about any of this. You're teaching me,
I
so
know. So I mean,
I love
it's
it.
like I always turn around and say that, you know, there's you, there's them, and then there's the truth in the middle.
Oh,
Okay. And it's like you and I
Locked in.
and say Cam could go, even though he's not here.
He'll be editing the video.
He will be.
So he will
okay.
love that shout out.
So shout out there to Cam.
Hi, Cam.
So we could go to the cinema and we could watch exactly the same film. We could come out, answer exactly the same set of questions, but our answers are going to be uniquely different because of our worldview or our perspective on things. We're going to have a very different understanding of what it is that we've just watched, and that's the same with life. You know, if you haven't had a good relationship or a secure attachment to mum or even to dad or to either or to both, or you've had an absent parent in some cases, that is a trauma within itself, within an attachment, because there's always a deficit there. There's always a need. And that can impact sort of poor coping habits that don't quite work out the same as an adult.
Oh, that's such a big one. The difference of adult to
but
kids.
they all bleed together. Everything is all relevant. And for me, coming out of the mental health, being very egotistical that I am, I just thought to myself, do you know what? I can do much better than they can.
Oh wow! And that
And it kind of spurred me
spurred
to
you
go.
to do what you're doing now.
Basically, yeah. I thought, no, I'm not going to be written off as a label, and I'm not going to create this. This is going to be my identity.
Yeah.
And it did make me feel uncomfortable when, you know, I used to get introduced to people by friends, and it's like, oh, there's Vic, she's type 2 bipolar disorder, or, you know, and it's like, whoa, let's just slow down. I am just Vic. And
Exactly that.
you know, it's too much emphasis is on BPD, on
I
EUPD,
agree.
or, you know, bipolar. Oh, it's just my bipolar.
Yeah.
It becomes somebody's identity and core identity, and that's not a bad thing, but what that does is that it puts a self-limiting belief on pushing forward,
Self-limiting belief,
which is
Love it.
still a thought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I came out of the mental health. I was looking for something relevant, and I came across Buddhism.
Oh wow.
Wow, I know it's quite a turnaround.
Yeah,
and I do believe it was the Buddhism that kind of saved me in regards to the philosophical views.
Wow.
I mean, I did try shaving my head once; it didn't work out for me. But I understand why Brittany did it. You know, I do. And
You really felt that.
I need to shout out to my little sister who sat on me.
When-
When I had my breakdown, I was like, I'm just going to shave my head. And my mum and my sister just sat on me in the kitchen, wrestled the shears from my hand. I only got to shave one side of my head. It looked all right. And I was just like,
that'll
guys.
do it.
I'm going out.
Yeah.
You know, so just left my mum's house with half my head shaved.
That was the compromise, was
I
it?
look like a righted case. You know, I didn't care. You know, but it kind of spurred me on. And the more sort of I became sort of educationally motivated to understand, I just thought to myself, do you know what? I am not going to be ignorant to CBT. I'm not going to be the participant, but I'm going to be the student. So that's what I done. I looked up online. I got a few, just a short course of what it was, and I thought, yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and this is why you're at Asda as well. Was this when you were at Asda?
Yes,
yeah,
actually,
it was.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It
So
was.
the timeline's tying in. As you were saying, sorry, before I interrupted you.
I said, so I done that, and I thought to myself, there was a few light bulb moments, the eureka moments of, oh, okay, that makes sense. I compare that to that stage of my life. I've now got an understanding of why I did that, how I can get out of that.
Damn, that's a question I was going to ask. You beat me to it. I was going to ask if it's changed your perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really did. It set the trajectory. And then I thought to myself, once that was over, I was getting itchy. And I was like, I want to learn more.
I want more.
Yeah.
I want to do more.
There's got to be more than this. So I done a life coaching course.
You did a life coaching course?
I
did not know you did a life coaching course. Please tell me. I'm so interested in that.
What, the life coaching course?
Yeah. Was it not really what you thought?
No, it's just inspirational. It's just like, it's the enthusiasm to life, and it's like, come on, don't get down in the doldrums, work to the SMART, which is, specific, measurable,
the SMART,
attainment,
realistic,
and time bound, and it's like, who cares? It's like,
it's too much positivity when actually you need to really be realistic.
Time bound and constraints as well. I mean, what happens if you're dealing with somebody who suffers with autism?
Oh, spot
you can't
on.
put a timeline on that.
No.
As I said, and if you're putting a timeline on that and they don't achieve that goal,
they'll beat themselves up.
Yeah, of course
Of course they will. They'll think I'm a failure.
Yeah. I said, and then I found what's called emotional freedom techniques. Now, this is something that I really wanted to talk about.
Please do.
So, emotional freedom techniques was born from thought field therapy, which was created by, I think, Dr. Robert Callahan.
I'm nodding, but I'll look this up. I'll look this up after as well.
It is phenomenal, but it's not available on the NHS because not a lot of research has been done to it because of the self-referrals, which makes it a biased research. I personally believe because of the positive results from it in relation to PTSD in soldiers.
Oh God, yeah.
Combat stress.
That's one of the biggest, if you like. It
is. I think it kind of, as again, disclaimer. I do believe that rather than creating cures, there are customers created in a certain field that I don't wish to speak about.
Interesting. Oh, it's getting controversial.
So yeah. But with the EFT, I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but emotional trauma is the biggest thing, know, and people don't really talk too much about emotional trauma and how it does get stored in your body, your nervous system.
Yeah.
So, when people go, why do I feel panicky? Why do I feel this way? Why do I just get angry over something so silly? And that can be triggered off of something that you were exposed to as a child. Because your nervous system doesn't have a brain, does it?
No, it just...
and it's driven by emotions.
Yeah.
So in that, your brain can only go by what it's stored. So EFT, it disrupts through tapping acupuncture points on the body. And it disrupts the nerve, the electronics going around the nervous system.
Wow.
But in doing so, as you're doing it, it's almost like a form of hypnosis as well.
That's so clever.
You're talking about a positive affirmation to re-embed within your nervous system.
To almost reprogram.
Basically, yeah.
How interesting.
And it's so lush.
That's so good.
As well. And it can, I myself have gone to EFT because, if I'm going to talk about it, I might as well participate in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that for me was an absolute profound experience. It really did. It shooketh me.
It
shooketh me. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I do feel an overall reset of myself. And it's been in recent months as well. When I was doing the certificate was years ago, and I felt that I did do myself a bit of disservice because I wasn't fully in because I just wanted to learn. But I did feel the positive effects even then. Mm-hmm. But I thought to myself, no, I'm ready. I'm going to really submerge myself in. And I'm glad I did it. But I do highly recommend it to anybody that's got personality disorder, anybody who's got sort of PTSD. I mean, any sort of trauma.
Yeah.
It's the funds,
Yeah.
and we are sort of within a social decline at the minute, financial decline.
Even with normal anxiety, would you say EFT is still helpful, even if it's just general anxiety and you wanted to have a bit more control of your bodily?
Yeah,
would you say?
So there's
potentially
a bit of a geek thing here.
No, please, geek on me, please.
So we always draw attention to the brain, but what doesn't get spoken about, and I don't know whether or not it's the algorithm on my Facebook or not, but through my studies, I'm not all allopathic, which is everything sort of medicine. You probably figured that out about me already. For me, I'm more naturopathic, functional medicine, holistic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to discredit the allopathic side of things. I do think it serves its purpose all round. But for me, for my projection in regards to where I want to go, for me, I just want to be an all-rounder. Because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. For
eggs
me,
in all baskets.
Absolutely.
In that sort of sense.
It brings me down to the gut. Now, the gut is considered the second brain.
Right.
And our human genome is very, very small in comparison to the overall gut microbiota, which is I know. So it's about, the Yakult advert where the kid's going, hello.
Oh my God, I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
Is it like that, essentially, with two different...
Yeah, it's so... The gut flora, the bacteria, is so important in regards to anxiety. And probably mental illnesses
as well.
I mean, we don't truly know. I mean, we probably could, but we don't want to get thrown off your websites. But yeah, it's really, really important. Today we eat lots of processed foods, monster drinks. Although I haven't had a monster drink in over a week now. I know. It's your brother's fault. We used to be in competition with each other.
Is it New Year's? Or is it always at the New Year you'd have a competition?
No, we were just when on shift with Asda. It was like, how many drinks have you had? And he'd be like 10, and I'd be like, I'm on 13. Any fizzy drinks, Coca-Cola, it's got aspartame in it. That is
I've heard of that.
Carcinogenic. So we're pumping our bodies with all this
your
badness.
Process is awful.
Plus, obviously, with farming, we don't have, our land is being depleted of the mineral resources, and then you've got the sprays as well, which again, the glyphosate is sprayed, causes gluten intolerances, which is we've got to build up with gluten intolerances now. So it really is so important to bear in mind what you're putting in. First
of all, actually physically.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
You're,
I said so. And again, you've got leaky gut syndrome, which we don't test for here unless it's done privately. Yeah. So, I mean, again, with leaky gut, all those toxins through the digestive system gets poured in. This is what I mean by a lot of everything is sort of bled into what makes mental health. There's not just one facet.
No, one thing that will help everyone.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to say as well about how mental health is not one box fits all.
It's not.
And it's not only is it all these different things to holistic and all the things that aren't medicine based, but it's also what you put in your body.
Absolutely.
That's so interesting to hear.
I mean, a lot of mental health can be related to what we call dual diagnosis, which is substance misuse. And then it becomes the competition of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it the mental health that came first, or was it the substance abuse that came first, which then contributed to the mental health developing? So yeah. So and again, I just think the sacrifices that I made to get better was again changing my perspective, becoming the student more than the patient.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really sort of seeking understanding in nutrition. Yeah. But I think the important thing for me was environment. The environment is so important for somebody to blossom. It's like if you love a flower, water it. If you like a flower, you pick it.
It's choosing what you do.
It is, and I think that, we...
I love that saying.
And again, selfish, selfish has become such a dirty word.
Yeah, It has been, hasn't it? That's a
You
good
have
point.
to be selfish. There's nothing selfish in putting yourself first.
God, how funny is that?
Saying no
Yeah.
to toxic relationships, and relationships can be sibling relationships, parental relationships. It's the hardest thing that anyone can ever do, and that's set healthy boundaries that are non-negotiable, which
Saying
is
no. It's so difficult.
is how you behave towards me is not productive in my overall well-being, and just because we have a blood tie does not give you permission or authority to pigeon me hole in an identity that you perceive me to be, and I can't live in my most authentic self.
Yeah. How funny is that? It's all because of culture, that. Oh, because you're my brother, you're my mum, whatever.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I have made those sacrifices. I'm one of 7. I only speak to probably 2 of my siblings, which is quite sad. But it is what it is. I had to make the certain sacrifice of, this relationships is not good for me. It doesn't matter what I try to do for the betterment of my life, I'm always going to be laughed at or ridiculed or belittled behind closed doors. And I can't have that toxic environment, and I won't settle for less within my personal relationships either, and friendships as well.
100%.
They're all interrelated, which is why the degree that I done, I chose all models of disciplines because they are all relative.
For different people as well. They're all different for different, you can apply them in different ways.
You can, and it makes research bases quite difficult because it's like, okay, so what am I going to do as far as research? Am I going to work on data?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Or am I going to work with language? And then, is it going to be a developmental and social perspective, or is it going to be a biological and cognitive, or it's all those factors and facets?
So because when you're dealing with a patient, would you call them patients? What would you say? I don't know what the word is, because they're human beings, aren't they?
They are, and I don't like to refer them as patients.
No.
I mean, I do when I'm advocating for them.
To say
the
that
nursing
then.
staff.
But it's telling them,
Well, the first thing is what would you like to be referred to?
Is that what you ask?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice. A lot of the time I will call them Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, and and that opens the door. Yeah. There have been instances where I've been called the most god awful names, and I'm like, that's okay, I will take it. And then I'll be like, well, I'm one of 7. My mum used to call us all sorts of names. Respectfully, it was always the line of my brothers and sisters before she actually got it right. I'm pretty much the same with my children. So, I mean, it's no grievance against my mum, bless her. And that kind of cuts the ice. Yeah. I mean, I always try to take the angle of humour as best as I can, because laughter is the best medicine.
It is, yeah.
I sort of, depending on who I'm working with, I said my decom, Aaron, he's we spitball very well off each other in those sort of stressful situations, and we do sort of play that Laurel and Hardy role, because a lot of the time it breaks the ice, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even danced in the street with a lady who's so manic, and we've done the Irish jig, and I'm looking at my colleagues, and I'm like, just dance. And then she stopped this old man, this passerby, and I was like, "You right, sir? Do you want to join in?"
Go on, let's get.
And then we got to the van, and then she changed her mind, and I was, that was literally, we all went,
what? Oh, that's no
so
fun.
close.
So close to greatness. So close.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is with these people, because obviously you get to say what they want, what they want to be referred as. Do you use all these different what do you call it? All these different things that you've learned. I don't know what you call it. Not themes. They're the different,
just different perspectives,
sections.
Aren't
they? Do you kind of assess them and then?
I do. It's very difficult because that's not actually my role.
Oh,
that's not my role. I am just your bog standard mental health transport assistant. We are just there to follow the orders. Which is, you've been detained under a section 2 or 3, and you've got to come with us. No questions asked. And it's like, well, I contest this. You need to, and it's like, we can't. You can only contest this once you're over the threshold of the hospital. We can advocate for you.
Oh, okay.
I can see that done, for
There's
you.
a certain level you can't. Yeah.
But you do have to come with us.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's, so this is where sort of the negotiation techniques do play a part.
Yeah.
And they are so vital to a person's experience.
To getting them on to, yeah.
It's not nice rolling around on the floor with them, because...
No. That's the best of times.
It has happened where,
really?
we've been injured, yeah. Yeah, it's we don't get paid to get injured, but we do.
No. But you're so passionate for it as well that
I am. It's in the amount of apologies that I've had from patients who are sort of say 2-3 weeks in of their section.
Yeah,
they were recognising. They're like, "I am so sorry," and I'm like, "Listen, do not sweat the small stuff. And as you get better, you'll realise it's all small stuff."
Exact. That's a really nice way of,
I said, and I do like going on the wards because I do like to dish out the hugs. I get lots of hugs. I said, and where I'm based,
so lovely.
The patients sit outside and they're having a cigarette, and they see me running to the and they see me running to the main entrance. They go, "Oh, she's on toilet break again." I'm like, "Guys, stop!" Because I do. That's the only time you'll see me running, Finn, is because I need the loo.
And I can see you.
Yeah, they do. They know me so well. I mean, some of them sit at the bench by our vans and they see me walking.
Oh,
and
that's
I
so
heard
funny.
one of the patients step around and go, "She's speeding up."
just started to get a bit faster.
I told you she needed the wee. And I'm like, "You cheeky buggers. How do you know?" And then they go, "Well, aren't you?" And I go, "No, I am. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to have to run now." And I'll run off.
I've got to commit to it now. I'm going to run.
Yeah. But the worst thing is the receptionist would just hold the key ready for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, "Is it really that obvious?" Yeah. Yeah. Some of them would get me to try and talk, and I'm like, "No, now's not the time. I'll talk to you."
No, yeah.
I really need to go now.
That's amazing though, Vic. Like all of that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, all of it. I mean,
I do love my job, but I was
going to ask you, yeah.
I am going to be sad. So the outcome is for my PhD.
This is the next steps, really.
Yeah, so I want to, I've done the breakdown, I've been the patient.
You've kind of gone through a lot of that already.
Transitions, yeah. And it's like, okay, so now I'm sort of centred with my crew at crisis point, which is really important. I feel myself, I need to turn up as the adult that I needed in those moments. And that's my outlook. Always turn up to be the adult that I needed as a child, as a teenager, as a broken soul.
That's a really nice way of looking at it, actually. Yeah.
I said, so that's how I present myself to everybody that I deal with. And that is really important. But I also want to take that sort of attitude into the PhD, and it's no disrespect to the clinical psychologists that I've met. They're a bit toffee, and some of them are a bit la-di-da, and some of them just have no life experience other than what they've read through the textbooks, which is quite sad.
Exactly that, and that's the big issue, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
and they don't understand why the patients are so frustrated with them, and it's like, well, you're talking to me like, this is my life.
You're doing both.
Yeah,
you're doing probably more the actual experience as well, and studying when on your off. It's great. It's the best bit, but best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, I mean, this is why when the question comes up, have you got any life regrets? None. No, I'm glad that everything that in my life has happened to me,
and it's got you.
It's made me the person I am. I'm grateful, actually, for my life experiences. And maybe my choices are questionable. That's fine because nobody actually understood what it took, what options I had at that time and the reasons why I had to make those choices. And that's okay. That's okay because it's my mile I'm walking.
It's your journey that you're doing.
That's right.
If you didn't have this breakdown in 2009, would you be in this job now, do you think?
No, I wouldn't.
The domino effect is quite crazy.
I would probably be on drugs. I'd probably be an alcoholic. I would.
So I shouldn't laugh.
I would.
It's the way you just came out of that.
No, I probably would be
Yeah,
on
they're
drugs.
being realistic,
Because, drugs were a huge proponent of...
An outlet, almost.
Yeah. Well, it's self-medication, which is why I can appreciate... you know, everyone that comes in and they're like, oh, well, you know, I use this to help, or I've used vodka to help curb my depression. Or, you know, everybody has their vices. I mean, I still smoke. You know, I was going to give up today. But I was like, no,
not today. Tomorrow it'll be. It is really interesting, actually. The domino effect of, and that summed up perfectly what you said about how you don't regret any of these life choices. Because without those, you wouldn't be sat here right now talking. And how amazing! I mean, you say you enjoy what you're doing, and I mean, I do. He would have been, you know, he'd have given you a bit of.
I wouldn't get any work done because I'd be on the phone to him going, "Yeah, Connor, you'll never guess what I've just done, or you never guess what I've just happened."
You'd throw in a certificate, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, you know what? So the whole COVID thing, I know for a fact. I'm so sorry to your mum and Mark.
No,
but I would have got him in so much trouble. I'd been like, "You sneak out now. We're going to go do something naughty." we would have done.
Oh, literally. Oh, yeah. If I was still on the island, that'd have been so.
So you know.
Just because we just moved, didn't we? Then that'd have been so funny. COVID. Oh my! You 10 doors down, and then you got Connor just across.
I told him, just break the rules. Just do it. Just
do it. You and Connor. Who else can we?
Well, it'd have been Connor across the road as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, both of them would have been.
Yeah.
The com's still here, bless him.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, evidently, it said with his football match, wasn't it? I had no idea his favourite colour was green.
You're wearing green again.
I know.
You're wearing green.
I know.
That was unbelievable. And it was. Connor's favourite colour was green.
I had no idea.
No.
Now my house is green. I didn't know until May this year.
Wow. I mean,
my wardrobe's green.
You didn't wear a lot of green.
I didn't like the colour green.
No. Yeah, that's fair. He kind of liked, I think the closest green he liked was kind of actually the shirt. I think that was kind of the darker green. I could be wrong. But yeah, he loved his green.
I know.
And of course, it's just a nice colour, which is why it's
nice
Conn'Cast.
earthly colour.
It's an earthy colour.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the colour, it's better than, I don't know, what's the worst thing for mental health? I don't know. Red's a bit aggressive.
It's a bit ragey, isn't
Red's a bit aggressive, isn't it? We're talking about mental health.
It's my favourite colour.
That's so funny.
That just describes me, doesn't it? How can you describe Vic? She's a bit ragey.
Ragey, bit red.
Yeah, my driving's questionable, so I mean, that could be a bit ragey. So.
Oh, God. Just to finish with, I think you spoke about a lot of what you've done.
Yeah.
Your perspective on mental health. What? Yeah, just as a summing up, because I think we spoke about
my perspective of mental health
in general. That's quite a generalised.
It's a failed system.
Yeah, I agree as well.
It's a failed system.
Whereas when you said to me about you don't know the mental health support around the island, even that.
Yeah, it is a failed system, and I learned how broken it was back in 2008, 2009, and it's very sexist. It's very sexist.
Really?
Yes.
So you say more. Not even to even men or women, it's just...
It's predominantly, there's more help for women than there are for men. Which is quite sad because, you know, men are supposed to be quite strong and adaptable. No, they're not.
No,
they're not.
Absolutely not.
On the outside, you know, in the outside world, they're strong. They need to get stuff done. But when you're in the sanctity of your own home, you're just big kids. You're goofy and you should be allowed to be afforded the space to be able to hang loose. Because I know for me... I can be a gangster when I'm outside the house because I have to be because, you know... I
keep it gangster.
I have to live in almost like a masculine feminine because I'm a single mum and I don't like that. I've never liked that, never asked for it. But when I'm at home, I just want to be a pampered princess. Do you know what I mean? If I want to walk around in my fluffy slippers...
Fluffy socks,
No, I do. You know,
got all the pink going.
Yeah. No,
I love that.
So I just think that it's a broken system, and obviously with my sort of projection with the PhD, hopefully, I'm not going to put it out there because there is always subject.
Yeah, you got to touch it. You got to do it.
I'm going to. If I don't make it, it's through my own failings. Okay, you know, so it is all about dedication, duty, being diligent in your work and that. And I did take me off the ball a little bit, but I've caught up now.
You've done it. You've caught up.
I've caught up now. I find it just so boring though.
Yeah, it's just
but I have to get it done to get my PhD.
All the studying, all the
I know. I said once I've got that and I've served me time with the NHS.
Oh yeah, what you're
Yeah.
You want to branch out and actually?
I'm going to leave the NHS and just set up. And I did actually want to call it the Conor McKay Foundation. It's just branch out where it covers everything.
I'll talk to my mum about that. She wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah.
I thought of that name once before.
But I want sort of reflexology. I want the EFT. I want the chiropractic.
The good stuff.
Chiropractors do this thing with the head and they can pick up on displaced emotions straight away. But not a lot of chiropractors do it.
My mum's training chiropractor, so I maybe speak to her about it.
But I want all things holistic. I want nutritionists there.
Yes.
Yes. And functional medicine, again, a lot of
functional medicine.
Yeah.
Functional medicine, not...
a lot of mental health can be attributed to being magnesium deficient, being dehydrated, a lack of vitamins.
Is it thyroid issue sometimes? Or is that not as much thyroid? So I've heard...
Thyroid, yes. Thyroid can. It's normally the first thing that they test for when you come in for a mental health problem. Yeah. Have you had a thyroid test? No. Do you want me to go and have one? Yes. Thank you very much.
That's it, yeah.
But lupus, SLE, or lupus is any autoimmune disorders, can present problems that are quite similar to mental health diagnoses as well. I know I recently got diagnosed with lupus in 2019.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So I might not have any of these diagnoses. I might just have lupus.
Yeah, and then all of
ADHD.
What a great combo. Great duo, isn't it?
I will take all the labels that they see fit because I will research the absolute pants off of them. And
don't want to be labelled either, though. You are Vic.
I am.
You are Vic. You are this person.
That's it. I am what I am.
I love that. I would put a song over, but I'll probably get copyrighted if I chuck it over the top. So have you sing along to it?
That's all right. I should have heard us
but
doing the sound check. It's like the rain in Spain.
There's mainly on the plane.
Yeah.
But back to the mental health. I agree. It's a flawed system, and there's not enough support as well.
No, it takes the service user movement.
Yeah,
those who like me. Like anybody that's attached themselves, even to
mental health.
Mental,
please do. We're gonna get Ryan and a few other because Ryan's the one that I don't know get the name. I think he calls himself CEO. He runs it basically. He's one of the. He's one of the main.
He's the top geezer.
He's the top geezer. He's one of the main, and with Roland as well. And I think there's other people as well. There's other people there, but we're gonna get Men Talk on. Actually, I'm gonna have a podcast. I think we're gonna try to. Oh, we need to message Ryan. I need to bloody message him.
I'm going to email Ryan. I'm going to email you.
Email Ryan, and I think we can do a podcast later in January. It'd be quite nice to hear their perspective on it.
Absolutely.
As well.
I think again, I'm a very keen advocate for men's mental health. I know, obviously, with females, but
like you said,
there's such a disparity.
You said it's sexist towards.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually got written off because of a 6-page front and back complaint I made for a then husband.
Yes, that's what I have to say. Husband.
Actually advocating. Obviously it was a real rubbish situation. I was exposed to domestic violence, but domestic violence has said, okay, it's no excuse.
Yeah.
But when there's mental health afflictions that are the primary resources for the reason why people behave the way they are, it's not an excuse.
No, but it's.
But I still actively campaign for the fact that you are overlooking the person, you are overlooking the root causes of this.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're condemning the action, not what the cause going on. It happened to me. If anyone's going to be angry, it's going to be me, but I'm not. It happened, it's done. I need to get to the bottom of this.
Of why this happened in the first place.
Absolutely. Why am I willing to explore this and you're not? And because I'd written this complaint, they turned around and said, well, we can see that you've got a good handle on things and we've taken the decision basically to sign you off of mental health now. And I was like, great, that's fine.
Did you say, the wording was that you're too intellectually aware?
Yeah, I'm too intellectually aware of myself, my symptoms and my environment to help make an informed diagnosis.
That is awful. It's
Well, EUPD and type 2 bipolar disorder, there's literally 3 tick boxes that make them different disorders. Seriously, it's what separates them. Yeah.
And do you agree with that? Sure. I mean, is that... Depends what those tick boxes are, I guess.
Well, without looking up the
what the actual
DSM-5, which I do have access because of what I do. Yeah, because of what I do.
Yeah, obviously don't want to get it wrong.
But yeah,
but
I mean, bipolar
perhaps.
is you have bouts of mania, hypermania, depression.
Okay.
It could be prolonged for 6 months, for a week, but personality disorder, it is literally you change to the mood that you're experiencing.
Oh, okay.
You know, there is an instability within that.
Yeah.
And again, that can be all traced back to a trauma in childhood.
And that's the falling.
And it does all come back from childhood. It really does. And again, I'm not blaming parents out there.
No.
I'm a parent myself, and I've made some god awful decisions, but I've also been big enough to take accountability for everything.
You've gone and said, right, that was on me.
I'm very, very lucky that my daughters in particular, very, very smart, very, very successful.
Yes,
absolutely. Now I just got to finally tune my boys.
I'm so impressed you got the two girls out. Both moved out.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I just, God, where's time going?
One of them's now midwife. Well, midwife assistant.
Yes,
she's going to be doing that midwife degree. I know.
I see it on Facebook. A little,
I know. And then her sister saying, "Haven't you got a small head?" And she's like, "It was on long range." Did you see that comment?
I didn't see it, but that's really funny. I saw the picture of all of them, and was it that one?
Yeah, that was that comment. She's like, "Your head looks tiny." She was a long range camera.
They got your sense of humour as well.
And I mean, my second daughter. She's now a laser technician. You know, she's
her own business as well. I see, or she kind of got her own little thing.
She's fully qualified in beauty therapy, but she's in a clinic now.
That's so amazing. That's and like you said, you said you made some decisions in your life, haven't we all?
Yeah.
But look how well they're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Because I was very, very aware. I had all eyes on me, and they had front row seats, and they'd seen enough. And it was like, no, time to get you.
They're doing so well.
Get you cracked. Well, I mean, my third daughter. I've got 5 children, by the way.
Yeah.
And my third daughter, she's working towards becoming a dentist.
Wow.
I know.
What?
So not bad for smashing statistics.
Yeah.
Single mums, mental health disorders.
Dealing with yourself and also your kids is
phenomenal. I couldn't have done it without my friends.
Yeah.
You know, and my lovely mum, for all intents and purposes, whatever the differences we had, you know, I couldn't have done it without her.
Your environment, as you said, it
was very conflicted.
Oh, really?
Very conflicted. Yeah, I'm not afraid to hold my hands up and say my trauma wound is my mum's trauma wound. You know, who gave me the most trauma? My mum. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. You hold your hands up and that is it. That's just truth.
But it doesn't mean I don't love her any less, because I absolutely love the bones of that woman. And my dad. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. I'm gonna mention that as well.
He's a top bloke. Always in trouble, me and him, with my mum. Yeah, put fag paper between us too. And we broke her house lots of times because we just bodged it together because we had great ideas that didn't really work. So yeah, I know, it's terrible.
That is amazing, Vic. I think we're doing pretty good on time. Yeah, literally hour on the dot, which is exactly what you want. Is it?
You sound like my therapist, because she said that as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, so anything over this have to pay for. 50 quid a second. Yeah, get out of I'm keeping that in. That's
good.
So
Yeah.
That's the big I know.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, please don't. That's so funny.
That's what you're going to get as a therapist as well. It'd be like, you know, you had a bad day. Well, okay.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, mental health podcast, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
That's brilliant. This is what we do. And that's pretty much it, really. So this is the outro. If there's anything else you want to say, or you're good?
No, it's just talk. Just talk. Don't be afraid to speak up. It is so important, and don't let anybody make you feel that your story or the choices that you make that you deserve.
Exactly that.
Everybody, nobody understands the context to the choices that we feel that we have to make. You know, I said everybody is deserving.
Yeah, we're all human.
Reach out, speak. It's fine. It will be all right.
That is brilliant. You choose either camera as well. You can look at either one. Over there. Whoa, it's too many.
I'm just more concerned about my forehead being too big.
Don't worry, Cameron will sort it. I believe in Cam. Yeah. I'm so happy you remembered Cam, by the way. That really shocked me. We said, Cam, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even tell you. I was like, wow.
No, Connor did yesterday.
Really? Was it Connor?
Yeah.
So, see, you're getting famous, Cam. You're finally...
No, that's it.
Anyway, this has been your host, Finn Tumber. This has been Vic. And you'll see me. I always say this wrong. You'll see me next Sunday at 7 p.m. I always say I'll see them, but I never actually do see them.
Oh, you might do.
Well, I might do. I don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
Anyway, see you later, guys. Bye.